What's up, everybody? This is KidSmoove, and this is my lovely. You can say your name too.
Denise.
All right, and we're gonna sit and talk to you guys about the Black Panther and our thoughts on it. And we just got finished. That's why we got bags under our eyes, because we got a late showing.
Yeah.
You got to see it twice.
Yeah.
Awesome. But definitely want to do a video on it because it's fresh on our minds. And gonna do not only just talk about the movie itself, but talk about, you know, the hype behind it, the reaction. Is it justified now that we got to see it? So before we get into all the mumbo and jumbo, let's talk about our thoughts. What are your thoughts on the movie? First impression. What did you think of what you saw?
It was great. All around great movie, great acting, great storyline, all the aspects that make a movie a good superhero movie. This movie just had it all.
Yes. I'm jealous I got to see it once.
I would see it a third time.
You would see it a third time. Yeah, there's people out there seeing it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, from a movie standpoint, great writing, great acting, wonderful cast. Wonderful cast. They did a great job. The movie is entertaining as much as it action packed. A lot of hero movies that came out over the last 5 years, a lot of them have like they have like a slow start, especially if it's a new character. Like the first time we watched Iron Man, the first time we watched Captain America, there's this upbringing to try to get you on board, and it's a slow start, and then the climatic fight happened, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas the Black Panther, it has a nice opening. It's not too slow. They get you into the action fairly quick, and once the action hit, it continues until the end, which is great. And you don't get that in a lot of movies these days. You said something about this movie when I first asked you about it. You said it has a lot of wokeness. Explain to that what. Because it obviously the movie shows a wide range, and I feel like it captures as much as Black / African culture. Because I feel like they got much of the Black culture, of the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all in this fictional story. And is explain the wokeness comment.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but for anyone that hasn't seen the movie, pay attention to Killmonger. He makes some really good points in the movie, and the ending scene, he says something that made a whole lot of sense. That as a Black person, I was just like, you know what? I kind of respect his character. You're probably going to grow to hate him because Michael B. Jordan plays the role very well. But
if you don't know, Killmonger, he's the villain. He's the villain.
But you respect where he's coming from at the end.
And I was just about to say that, because as the role, even as a villain, because most movies we see, especially action or Marvel movies, there's a bad guy and they're a bad guy for this particular reason. It's just like, okay, all right, he's the villain, kill him off, right?
He wasn't exactly bad.
Yeah, there was a purpose behind it. You kind of get the point of view. It's like you get rid of, and we're not going to explain what the purpose is, but
there was a greater good to what he was
There's a greater good to what pretty much everybody's trying to do. And I understand the people of Kumanda, why they did what they do to try to keep what they have, their sources, their stuff as a secret and only within to the community. And it has some correlations of the stuff America is going through and other countries are going through. You know, some people want to argue, we don't want immigrants in and stuff. Certain lifestyles this country would have to withstand if we open the borders up to not just Mexicans, but all sorts of different type of things. We're going to start to inherit problems that other countries are inheriting, and that they definitely reveal. I was like, holy shit, that makes sense. So it touched on that. It touched on the whole thing, like in the other way, like you'll see, you know how as far as, because this is a Black film, as far as like cast and they embody the culture very well. And this is first and foremost, it's a Marvel movie, but they did their job as far as portraying the culture. And so for the one thing would you say we as a people are like always either stereotype or critical of it, whether it's like loyalty, trust, we don't bond, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like which we saw aside, because there are in Africa there's bond, there's tribes, there's in the actual motherland and stuff like that, but African Americans, it's not.
No, not really.
And you got a sense of all of that in this movie on how we go against each other, who's the push in line of that. It did all this in a way. It does in its own way. The woke. There's a lot of wokeness into it, which I thought was pretty cool. But overall, we can't hate on the movie. There's nothing about the movie. Like, I went into the movie saying it's going to be all hype and people are just doing this because it's trendy. But the movie itself, great, spectacular. If I had to give it a score, I give it
a 10.
You give it a 10? I would love to give it a 10, but I would say it's going to be as close to a 10 as possible. So I'm like 9.8 out of 10. The movie it's pandemonium. It's pandemonium in the sense that for the last 3 days it's been sold out. We had to settle for front row seats on a newly added time. It's pandemonium in the sense that people have been going to see it. All spent this whole weekend watching the movie. It's pandemonium as in it's broke so many records as far as breaking over 200 million in its opening weekend. But it's also a pandemonium in that it had the Star Wars effect. Going to theaters, people are dressing up in tribal uniforms. They're cosplaying.
Yeah,
they're doing all sorts of stuff, which I don't have a problem with, because you got all the white folks doing that with Star Wars and stuff. No offense, you know what I mean? But like it was like cool, because I know people were getting kind of bothered by it and making fun of people for doing it. But it's whatever.
Let them live.
Let them live. Yeah. I ain't dressed up and I wasn't beating on drums, but let's do make this clear though. Because when you look at social media and you look at people are saying on Twitter, on Facebook, and what even how the media is portraying, everybody's trying to push like this thing that it was more of like this liberation for like black people, some sort of like civil like accomplishment for some reason. And I didn't understand that, because I don't know if people confuse Black Panther the movie with Black Panther the movement from like the 70s and whatnot, but it has nothing to do with that. It's a Marvel movie. It's like Spider-Man. It's like Iron Man. It just so happens now there is a black cast, black characters. It's a black universe. It's that, which is great. But I feel like the people's reaction to this movie, like not the praise, but the proud of being black, or the hero-ness and the respect, the appreciation of being black coming out of this movie, I thought was weird, because there's movies based on real life events of actual heroism from black people that have come out that have not gotten this reaction, that have not gotten this celebration. You got the Nat Turner story, who actually came back and killed his oppressors. You had Hidden Figures, black women who sent our
Django. I love Django.
Is that real?
Well, it's not real, but still, it was fictional, but it was about a slave.
But the other stuff was like real, that things to be proud of, and I felt like how black people were reacting to Black Panther versus how they were reacting to the movie. It was just weird. Now, I understand as far as like there's a lot of black actors. There's a lot of black films, but I know the roles that are typically, the thing about how successful this movie was without being a hood movie, a hood comedy. The success of this movie without being a, what you call it, it's another movie black people tend to get, a slave movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not one of those, it's now it's just a fictional action movie. Marvel, they get their movies right, and it should be celebrated for what it, as a film, it should be developed. It's going to be one of the best movies you see all year. Definitely one of the best Marvel movies. I think it's probably the best Marvel movie.
Yeah.
deserved those accolades. It deserved that. From a movie perspective, it's the best movie you'll probably see this year. They did a great job, but the whole wokeness, the African tribe, I'm black and proud, the pride.
We should have been black and proud.
That coming out from a Marvel movie, a fictional based movie, I think it's just kind of was a little odd. When we do have heroes and movies based on them that actually came out that showed that happened in real life, but and I just felt like the reactions to the movie was just kind of a bit premature. There are some unnecessary articles out. There was an LGBTQ community article that came out shaming the movie for not being gay enough. Michonne's character, I think, was supposed to be quote unquote gay, even though it was never like fully revealed in that movie. They wanted it in the movie. They were a little upset that it wasn't in there. So I read an article on that and I thought, I was like, that's kind of stupid. But yeah, it's just a movie, and there is an overreaction to the movie. But there's not an overreaction to the movie as a movie. The overreaction is more of like the agenda pushing, and but the movie does this job to make people like happy. Like, for example, as a black person, it's a great movie that didn't have to be built with stereotypes and historical like slavery and shit like that. That's why I'm proud of the movie. But so definitely see it, and it does cover. It reminds you how strong our women are. They do a lot of focus on like the strength of a woman. Behind every man is a good woman, and they show that in different ways in this film. And I thought they did a good job with that. I do
want to point out that I'm not sure who the girl is that played Black Panther's sister.
Oh yeah.
Whoever she is, she stole the show.
Yeah, terrific.
She really stole the show. I'm guessing she's a new actress. I've never seen her before. Yeah. But she was great in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she
really stole the show.
It's a movie I could tell you. You've seen it twice already. I can understand anybody wanting to see that movie multiple times while it's in theater form. But shout out to everybody who was a part of the movie. The actors in that movie. Hopefully, they agents negotiated them a fat payday because it's well deserved. Everybody did their job.
They better get every award possible for that movie.
Yeah.
They better not.
This isn't a movie like a Marvel film could get. This is a Marvel movie or a comic book movie that probably deserves some awards, and not one of those shame awards where we got to do it because the cast was black. Because honestly, it was a great movie.
This movie is just as relevant as Rocky. You know, Rocky is a fictional character.
Oh yeah,
but Rocky meant a lot to people.
Yeah.
So this movie means a lot too. Like when I first saw it earlier today, I saw it with Mason and Michaela. Yeah. And it was interesting because usually Mason likes Batman. He likes to act like he's Batman. He likes to act like he's the Power Rangers. Yeah. And when we left the movie theater, he said, "Mommy, look," and he was acting like Black Panther.
Good
and it
job.
was a good movie for little black girls and little black boys because it's just like, okay, it's a black superhero. And then, like, these women were kicking ass in that movie.
Women would kick ass.
They were going in.
There's a lot of ass kicking in the movie. By the way, the women are dominant. And I like them, and I love me some Michonne. So anytime I see Michonne in an action-packed movie, I know she's whooping somebody's ass.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these girls were ferocious.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure all of you have, check it out. It's a great movie. Let us know what you think of our thoughts on the movie and the reaction of it. Do you believe this is like pandemonium? You look at the movie theaters, it's been packed all weekend for this one movie, and that hasn't happened in a while. And the fact that it's happening with a movie that's really black, you know what I mean, as far as like all the lead roles and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, you know. Thank you guys for checking out our review or our impressions of the movie, and let us know how you feel in the comments below. You hit that like button, the subscribe button, and we'll be seeing you guys later. It's KidSmoove, Denise, Apples and Oranges. Apples and Oranges. Can I hit stop? You want to hit stop for me? I'm going to click right there. There we go.